皆さん、こんにちは。Otaku Oyaji da. O genki desu ka? Hello everyone, this is Otaku Oyaji again, and I hope all of you are doing well. Today I have a new format because of this. Wrong hand. Yeah, this. Okay. That's a watermark which my video capture software has implemented, and I can't remove it unless I subscribe to it, which costs roughly, I don't know, 30, 40 US dollars a year. So until I can find a software that allows me to have a background and no watermark, I'm afraid this is going to be it. Well, anyway, today I want to go off track because I'm not going to do trains. Well, you see, actually, I've always been a great fan of models, the plastic type, all right, and miniatures, and I do collect them here and there. And one of my fancies all this time has been on Star Wars models, to be precise, models from the Fantasy Flight Games, X-Wing, and Star Wars Armada line. Today I want to share with you how I display one of those models. Well, let's get to it, shall we? The Star Wars scenes that always get my heart pumping are the ones that involve the Superstar Destroyers. Well, there are actually two of them, but the more famous one would be the Executor. Alright, and she usually appears with her attendant escort fleet of Imperial Star Destroyers. And as you can see in these scenes, she is massive. And that's what I'm trying to recreate in my display. Fantasy Flight Games Star Wars Armada Superstar Destroyer was released more than a year ago, so there are many reviews and unboxing on this on YouTube, and I'm not going to go into that. But I must give it its due credit. It is a fantastic model. Okay, one thing I want to zoom in would be the bridge. You see, the bridge of the Superstar Destroyer is, well, the same as that of Imperial Star Destroyer, the one I have down here. And this is also by Fantasy Flight Games, and it is gorgeous. Now, here's lies the problem. You can see that in terms of scale-wise, they're not of the same scale. In fact, the ISD is much bigger than the Superstar Destroyer in terms of scale. Now, that's only logical because if they were to make a Superstar Destroyer that is of the same scale as the ISD down here, I don't think can even fit in a room. When displaying the two of them together, yes, you can see that the SSD is bigger than the ISD, but in terms of scale, it is way off. So my challenge was, and I didn't want to display the SSD alone. I wanted to have its escort complement, and that's where this comes in. This little Star Destroyer is actually from another one of Fantasy Flight Games Star Wars series board games, which is Star Wars Rebellion. And it just so happens that, wow, it's almost the same scale. It's still slightly bigger, but it's close enough. Alright, and it looks great displayed together with the SSD. So let's move on to how I rig these ships. Okay, the Star Destroyer from the Star Wars Rebellion board game is actually a pretty well detailed miniature in its own right. But one gripe I have is the bridge of the Star Destroyer lacks any details. So what I'm going to do is just add some random stretch sprues to, well, make it look a bit more alive. Now it just so happens that Games Workshop sprues are the exact same color as that of the FFG Star Wars Rebellion ISD. So it'll blend in perfectly. So what I do is I heat up the sprue with this blowtorch lighter. I love it. Alright, and you heat it until it melts. Oops! Okay. And after that you stretch sprue, take two, and action! Okay, so I heat it up, taking care not to burn it. Okay, and eventually the heat will cause the plastic to melt. And you grab both ends and you stretch, and iPhone refuses to focus. So much for the iPhone 13 Pro Max camera, eh? Okay, and then you hold it there until it hardens. And after that, you just, well, actually I had an earlier piece which has the perfect thickness, so I'm going to use that. Okay, so until it's roughly that thin, okay, and then you just cut off small little random lengths, and that's it. After which, I just put some random pieces on the bridge and I glue them down with Tamiya liquid cement, which would melt the plastic together and thus creating a stronger bond, if I can only align it. Okay, now applying the glue and capillary action, just a drop will do. Capillary action will do the rest. And I also take this time to reposition the sprue to the desired location, which is really up to you. Okay, this is not really easy for me, so I'm gonna do the other pieces off screen and show you the finished product. I'll be back. Okay, so this is how it looks like after I have stuck the sprues on. It's quite random actually. So you see in this one I have 2 pieces, while in this I have 3. All right, the key thing now is it's no longer a flat surface and there's a bit of texture. Okay, the next question is how am I going to get this model to sit on a flight stand when there are no holes? Well, I'm just gonna make my own, okay, over here. And the tools I'll need is basically a drill bit, pin vise, and my hobby knife. Now, the drill bit, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's 1.8 mm by guesstimation. Okay, using my hobby knife, I mark out the center. Right, like right here. I twist it a little bit so that I have something like a pilot hole. Okay. Then after that, I just drill. Like so. Okay, now this Star Destroyer model is not a solid plastic. It's made of multiple pieces, so the center is actually hollow. Just keep going until you feel that you've broken through the bottom layer, and that's it. The hole is done. And yes, I've broken through. All right, so now I just clean up a little bit. Okay. Now I know that this is not what Lego AFOLs, adult fans of Lego, would say is a legal fit, but it's gonna work. Okay, so you see, this goes by, well, friction. So now all you do is just to insert and voila, it fits. That's it. Okay, now this part that sticks out is actually to allow it to sit level, all right? But if you really want, you can cut it off. I'm not gonna do so, all right? Because I like a bit of flexibility. So the only difference from the original game piece and this is just this hole at the bottom, which is not noticeable actually. So sorry, I can't stand this. Let me just trim it off a bit more, make it nice and clean. Voila, that's it. As for what flight height you want it to be, you can just basically adjust it according to how many of these flight pegs you have. Right, so let's see. Okay. Wow, you can. Well, you can go forward if you want to. Alright, so you can have various heights if you want to. I mean, if you can go 4, you can go 3, but you could see at 4, it starts to, well, be a little bit unstable, unwieldy, if you will. So I'd rather just stick to
a maximum of 3. There we go. Right, and I think 3 is actually pretty good height.
The SSD box comes with a background, stars background cardboard, and I made use of that to, be the base of this display. And here it is, the SSD in all her glory, along with her escorting ISDs. God, I love how it looks. Unfortunately, the iPhone camera isn't doing it justice. I think it might be me. Oh yes, and there's a Death Egg in the corner, the Death Star. Yes, it's out of scale, but false perspective is very far away, yada yada.
Well, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please do leave a like and subscribe to my channel. It will really help out the channel greatly, and I'll be most appreciative. So until the next time, stay safe, stay blessed. Mata ne!